And we are back with another motherfucking week of NFL sports talk. Welcome back to the three-man lineup. It's your boy, as always, David, coming back in with some hot-ass takes and calling out all that bullshit that Justin says. Got my co-host with me, Justin. How you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm pretty fucking good. You know, this week's been kind of rainy. I'm not going to lie. I had some pretty shitty days at work. But it's always good to see you, my boy.
It happened. It's New England. The weather constantly changes.
New England's the only place where I know where it will actively hail and be sunny. And all in like 5 minutes. Like, as it's actually hailing, you see the sun part through the fucking clouds.
And then a tornado comes in and tears apart your house.
And then that hurricane, right, that's supposed to be here, finally pulls up. But we are back giving you guys some good shit, some hot takes. We have a funny one today. A whole lot of stuff going on. But, like always, we're going to give you the straight up good stuff. So, Justin, tell me a little bit about your week, baby boy.
Well, you know what? This is really random.
No. I'm going to tell you, bro, this water's a little fucking sus. Bro, where the fuck do you get this water from?
Okay, he's been complaining about the tap water. Let me tell you something.
I'm not complaining about it. I just want it to be filtered through a Brita, not some hobo's mouth.
To the OGs out there, right? You're from Tiverton.
You're not even OG. You're like 20 years old. He's like, to all the OGs out there, I remember what it was like when sliced bread first came out.
For anyone who didn't go to school with me, okay, I'm from Tiverton.
T-Town.
And that tap water was brown. And my grandfather always used to tell me, it's the iron, it's good for you.
It's the iron, it's good for you. Bacteria, take it.
And that's probably why we have so many diseases in the family.
He was like that one guy who was like, you weren't supposed to give your kid AIDS? that wasn't on one of the booster shots.
You know what's even worse than that? This week, guess what?
What's going on?
I met somebody who's never been to D'Angelo's. And I'm thinking,
who the fuck are you?
Do you live under a rock?
Do you like cutting yourself at night? I mean, honestly, I'm more of like a Jersey Mike's kind of guy. You know, I always get Jersey Mike's and Jimmy John's confused. I've never fucking been to a Jimmy John's, but I'm like, I'm going to go to Jimmy John's in front of a Jersey Mike.
Yeah, I mean, either way, Subway's last. But if I'm getting like a Philly...
Oh, you want to hear some bullshit, right? So, you know, I drive, you know, for work and stuff, right? And these fucking rest stops are highway robbery. I swear to God, I had the worst fucking put together Subway sandwich, right? I got a fucking 6-inch. You know how much I pay for that shit? $10.98. I still remember verbatim how much I actually spent on that shit.
A 6-inch, you probably got 4 slices of turkey.
Bro, I got like a half a spoon of steak. I ordered a steak, egg, and cheese. You know, I'm on my breakfast run. I want to make sure I got all my nutrients and good shit to go throughout the day with. And these motherfuckers, and right, of course, you know, this person, you know, doesn't speak the greatest of English, and I have no other I don't know any other language besides English. So I'm like, yo, extra stuff, muy more, grande, like, I don't know shit, and of course, like, and I don't want to sit there and start, like, bullshitting on the price, because this person probably doesn't give 2 fucks about what I'm gonna do, you know, or whoever I am. They're like, oh, fuck you, guy, you're gonna complain about your $10 sandwich, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, fuck, I need to go talk to somebody, you know, maybe the representatives at, Subway, where they finally get out of jail.
It's company policy. That's all he's gonna say.
It's company policy. But that's some shit going on.
That's 100 pesos. I mean, $10.
Well, all that money they gave from Jerry touching little people. Well, kids. I wouldn't say little people. I mean, that'd kind of be legal. They'd just be.
Anyone under 5'1".
Anyone under 5'1", and I must see your birth certificate. Oh, Jerry. Is that the guy's name? Is that the guy's name?
Who?
The Subway guy.
Oh, I don't even know.
Jerry. I'm pretty sure it was Jerry. Yeah. Well,
I have no idea.
He's known for touching kids more than he is for his sandwiches.
To be honest, I didn't know who you were talking about when
you don't know the scandal with the Subway guy.
No.
You honestly don't know?
No, I do not.
The man was, you know, trying to get his...
Doesn't everybody have a scandal nowadays?
Yeah, but most of them don't involve kids. Well, okay. The ones that don't disappear, you know, when no guards are there or, you know, no cameras are working, you know, Epstein's Island.
Speaking of eating, did you see that fan on Instagram personally message Jalen Reagor, right? I'm sorry if I butchered his name. And he's told him, if you please get me 13 or more fantasy points, and I will buy you a Big Mac.
Okay.
And this guy got so upset.
No. We are gonna go line for line, text message to text message for this conversation. Now, this is what's so funny about like NFL players, right? You have social media. And, you know, the thing about being like a very prominent sports figure, or whoever this guy is, you know, like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but you're on an NFL team, right? And the thing about it is, like, most of the time fans really can't get that close to the player. They can't really, you know, like, ask them a question or have a conversation with them like this.
Right. The chances of them even replying are slim to none.
Slim to none.
And if they even go as far as to send a little thumbs up or a K,
you know,
the screenshots will be everywhere. Oh my God, he replied to me.
Exactly. Right. And you gotta wonder, right? So you see all these NFL players, and they really try to put them in this certain light of like, oh, they're really good guys. They've never said a thing wrong, or this and that. This whole conversation goes to show that every NFL player is like any other fucking dude on the street. He doesn't have any high morals or anything else, right? So we're gonna take you guys verbatim on what this conversation was about, what's really going on, and I'm gonna play my boy Jalen Reagor. Is that how I say? I don't really care if I butchered his name. Fuck him. And you're gonna go play the who is this guy who's sending him the message?
I have no idea.
I can't even see it in the green shot. It doesn't say a name or anything. But yeah, kick it off, my boy.
All right. Hey, if you get 13 or more fantasy points, I'll buy you a Big Mac. I assume after the game, he goes, "You suck, man. Wow."
Nigga, fuck you. Drop your addy. Yeah, nigga, doing all that shit talking. Y'all fucking fans talk too damn much. I'll knock your soft ass out.
Man, relax. You're not going to get a Big Mac talking to me like that.
Yo, and I know he was so, oh my God. Yeah, now, now it's relax, bitch. I'll beat you the fuck up. All right, I said that like I'm retarded. Let me go through that again, right? Yeah, now it's relax, bitch. I'll beat you the fuck up. Drop your addy, soft ass nigga. I'll end that bitch ass talking real quick.
Man, aren't you 5'10"? You better relax or I'm telling Sirianni.
And you know what's so funny about that whole conversation? You know Reagor was he was way worse. He was like way mad about that than that fan was. That fan was just happy he responded.
He was having a good time.
Oh yeah. Looks like you didn't get that big back.
That guy probably has that photo, that screenshot framed
on
on his wall.
Oh my God, you know that's gonna live for infamy. But you know what's the funny thing, right? You know, so if you didn't know that I have messaged an NFL player that used to play for the Patriots.
Really?
I did. I've actually commented on 2 NFL players. They're either one of their like little pictures they post on Instagram or one of the lives they throw up on. The first one was for Hilton for the Steelers. This was when they didn't make the playoffs that one year, and of course his bitch ass is on a fucking boat with his you know female friend, looked very attractive. You know what I'm saying? And he was all like, he was just sitting there in the wind, and I literally texted him, I'm like, how's the playoffs? And he literally read it. He goes, oh, they want to start clowning and shit.
Oh, I do remember that.
I sent you,
told me
that. All right, so I sent that video. Then
we might have actually mentioned that on the podcast, now that I think about it.
Could have. I also texted a guy that used to play for the Patriots on Instagram. His Instagram name was New Era or some shit like that.
New Era. I know that's Lamar Jackson.
No, that wasn't New Era. It was one of the. It was one like the. It was like a really skinny receiver they had on the Patriots. He's only there for a couple of years. And
yeah.
Now he's cutting trees.
He's cutting trees.
Yeah, and I think he said something, and I was like,
he was probably cutting a tree when Bill found him.
I mean, probably. He said something, and I just commented like some douchebag trolley thing, and he like actively got mad, and he was like, "You ain't never doing this. You ain't never seen an NFL field," and I'm like, "Yeah." And they also didn't have the chance to tell me to go the fuck home. Like, it was also a good thing. But I think these players, the fact that they get so mad that when like they get trolled or something, goes to show how soft they are. But you know, I thought that was a pretty funny little you know back and forth.
It's hilarious. Like somebody can send an entire book to a player, pour their heart out,
Yeah.
and they'll just go, yeah, appreciate it, or something, and
go
it'll
from
get the same response.
Exactly, but if you call one of them, you fucking blow, and tell them you give them a Big Mac if they score 13 plus.
We can barely even get through that conversation.
Like that is so funny. And I hope YouTube knows I am a black man, so I do have the N pass. I don't know if they're gonna demonetize us for that, but I am reading the conversation word for word, and I would be lying if I change anything from the conversation.
No, we didn't lie about that at all. That is 100% word for word what happened. In case you didn't see it, now you're caught up.
Yeah, you're caught up with this shit talking. What else we got lined up for today? I know we had some good ones.
Well, we have a whole situation that went down in the WNBA, and that I know you are so excited to talk about. Before we get to our regularly scheduled talk about Week 4.
Yes, I mean, at the 3-man lineup, we are not prejudiced. We will not deny these women the right to be on the podcast. We will not do that. We are what they call woke. But it's so funny, right? So, everybody has to know it by now. If you don't know it by now, I forgot what NBA team. I want to say it was the.
Don't look at me. I don't know a single.
I asked you to look the shit up. But all right. So this WNBA team, right? They got kicked off their court to make room for a concert. They had to play their game. I think
Phoenix Mercury.
Yeah, the Phoenix Mercury. I know it was something stupid. And they had to go play their game, right? Think of this. They didn't play it at a Division I school. They didn't play it at they did play it at a community. GCU is a community college, right? GCU has to be a community college, correct? Well, even if it's not, they played it at GCU. These people didn't even have the care to at least change the emblem on the fucking floor to anything resembling the WNBA. Nope, GCU. And it's so funny because you had a bunch of like NBA players talking about, oh, the WNBA, you guys need to give them more respect. They'll never say they need to get paid just as much as LeBron James, but they'll always say, oh yeah, they need to give their respect too, right? And you notice how like you got LeBron James, the biggest talker about the WNBA, right? I don't see this motherfucker, pulling up some money to have their emblem changed on GCU. Like, how serious are you taken as a league when you get kicked out of your own stadium for a fucking concert? Like, for a fucking concert.
It was the playoffs, too.
And it's the playoffs. This is supposed to be your moneymaker. This is supposed to be your cash cow. You know what I'm saying? And imagine
I don't think any cash cows are roaming.
I don't get it. I don't get how you want me to pay more money, but you can't even, get the rights to your own building? Like, are you serious? I guarantee, right? If the Lakers had a game in Staples Center, right, and there was some sort of concert, that concert's getting kicked somewhere else. I guarantee
100%.
Any NBA team.
100%.
I want to know any NBA team who's going to get kicked out of their own stadium and play on a court that they didn't even bother to spruce up a little bit. You got GCU, like, shit, I didn't know they had a WNBA team, or I didn't know the WNBA team was on the level of college basketball. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, where are all you woke NBA players? Where you at? Don't deny these women. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, let's be honest. They'll never be actually as big as the NBA. But...
Well, if we're going to be honest, I don't give two shits about the WNBA. like, I think it's, like, literally, like, it has anybody ever looked, like, this, like, go back into Instagram, right? Has ESPN, like, Bleacher Report, like, any of these, like, top sports media pages ever looked at their comments? Every fucking comment about anything coming from the WNBA, it's like, really? Are you guys really pushing this shit? I mean, the bitch made a dunk. She jumped 2 feet off the ground. Congratulations. When you're literally out here counting dunks in the WNBA and not, like, championships or, I don't know, like, anything else besides fucking dunks, right? You expect people to go crazy about that? Right. I can go find Nate, I don't know, not Nate Burleson, but the Nate who got knocked the fuck out by Jake Paul. He can dunk. And that guy's like 5'4". So don't give me this shit about, oh my God, they can dunk. I think women's basketball, it's entertaining, yeah, but I mean, if there was, I don't know, water polo on, would I change the channel? Probably.
Just because it's women, they're a lower standard. So instead of, look at that. She made a half court shot. Oh, look at that. She made a extra point.
Yeah, oh, look at that.
A foul shot.
Yeah, exactly. She made a foul shot. An extra point.
Sorry.
At least these women know their sports.
Well, I'm not going to pretend to know either, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a basketball guy, in case you didn't know. Now you probably
That was
know.
very, very abrupt right there. My thing is, and LeBron James, Chris Paul, all these people, chanting about the WNBA.
Do they really all talk about it? I have not seen a single thing.
Well, they talked about it, they kind of talk about it when it's convenient, right?
Or it makes themselves look
when
good.
it makes them look better, because, you'll see people like LeBron James who, advocate for, women getting paid just as much, right? But then you look at it, they don't even make enough money to get paid just as much. And you don't see LeBron James giving out fucking checks. I love it, too. He's like, the fact that people aren't watching the WNBA, they're just sexist and bigoted, you know what I'm saying? Oh no, LeBron, I'm sorry. Seeing you leap from the fucking foul line and do a windmill dunk is more entertaining than a girl missing a 30-foot shot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I find, different things entertaining to me, and some people like watching WNBA. And they should watch the WNBA. If you like it, I think people should.
You can like what you like.
Yeah, but I think you gotta be honest. If you're gonna, almost try to make people feel bad for not supporting it and not watching it, then you should do it yourself. I mean,
don't be a hypocrite.
Exactly, LeBron James. LeBron James.
But anyways, now moving into the NFL. This is where we get into the good stuff. Broncos.
Oh yeah, because we're getting kicked off your own home field.
Well, it is for
getting mad over being offered a Big Mac.
It's the good stuff when we're sitting in the room trying to come up with material.
Yeah,
that's the good stuff. But anyway,
this is the meat of the sandwich.
But what I should say, what you guys tuned in for, a lot happened this week in week 4.
A lot did.
We're going to talk about a record that the Baltimore Ravens broke. I'm not entirely sure. It's a record with the most consecutive football games played, with 100 total yards rushing. And with a couple seconds left in their game, what was it, in Denver?
Yeah, it was
at Sports Authority. All right. They instead of taking the knee, they ran a play just to break the record, and the Broncos were not happy about that.
The Broncos are a bunch of bitches. Broncos bitches, you know what I'm saying? And the real, I think the real problem was, I think the head coaching wise, they had a lot of bad calls, and I feel like the fact that John Harbaugh kind of, I guess, rubbed it in, but I mean, it wasn't even I thought it was always an unspoken rule that if a player is gonna break a very substantial record or a team or something, you let them celebrate for a little bit, because it happened with Drew Brees, it happened with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Well, there's a big difference between a consecutive rushing game and all-time record. Or an all-time.
Yeah, but look at the all-time records. I mean, it was being tossed between Brees and Brady at one point, and it was almost every few years they were tossing the ball back and forth with each other. I mean, that one would break the record, and they, breaking a record, regardless of what it is. I mean, unless it's something fucking stupid, being the first female to kick a ball, Then I thought it was an unspoken rule that you let the team.
We are not prejudiced.
I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying, bro. It's not that fucking hard.
but a record like that, most consecutive games rushing for 100 yards or more. How many titles did that bring home to Baltimore?
Oh yeah, you gotta look at that too. They got what? How many Super Bowls they got? What, 2?
2? Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah, they got 2 Super Bowls. I don't know if you noticed this, but the AFC North is run by the Steelers. 6 Super Bowls. You gotta bring something home.
Well, not currently, but
What do you mean got currently 6 Super Bowls? You just
no.
I'm
saying the Steelers don't run the North.
We run the North until somebody wins a Super Bowl.
No, that's not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Listen,
nigga, you cannot win. Bro, I don't give a fuck if you win if you win, if you make it to the NFC Championship, the AFC Championship.
I'm not denying. No.
Fuck you, bro. You didn't win the game.
I'm not denying that Pittsburgh isn't one of top 3.
What do you mean top 2?
Maybe top 2.
Who?
franchises in the league.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right. Listen. You bullshit, right? You just said they're the either top 3 or top 2 franchise in the league, right?
Yes.
And I'd assume number 1 just because of how new they are. I know you want to say the Patriots, right? And I won't stab you in the neck for that one, right? But I will stab you in the fact that, all right, what are the other? So that means that second team has to come from the AFC North. Which bullshit motherfucker is it, bro? Is it the Browns, right? Is it the fucking Ravens?
I meant just talking from this year only.
Fuck this year. They ain't gonna do shit. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They don't run shit. We run it. I understand. We'll talk about this later, but yo, what you said almost got you stabbed in the throat. In the throat. The jugular. I know where to poke it. You know what I'm saying? I watch CSI in Miami and whatnot. I know all about that.
Do you not have anything else better to... Oh, yeah. Well, you probably watch that right? Rather than the Steelers games.
If I want to pour bleach in my eyes, I'll go do it on my own time.
So speaking of massacre, how about
to wrap up the other point with the reason why the Broncos head coach was butthurt, like, get the fuck over it. Like, stop them. I don't understand how you lost the game and you're mad that they ran another play. Like, that was the end-all, be-all of that fucking game. That the reason why you lost is because they decided not to kneel it. You know what? You get paid to win games. You don't get paid to bitch and complain. You get paid millions of dollars. Go win a fucking game, and if you don't win, look in the mirror. Like, stop. I hate when players, what is sportsman like? My feelings are hurt. Just powder your pussy and go up in there next week and figure out what you did wrong. So I have no problem with what the Broncos did. I think what the Broncos did was, I have a problem with the Broncos did. Bunch of bitches, right? But the Ravens, what the Ravens did, I mean, they ain't got much to look forward this year. You know, apparently people think that Lamar Jackson's a quarterback, but he has to actually...
I'd like to see Lamar break some passing records.
Yeah, let's see that, you know what I'm saying? Let's just see him break a record to have, I don't know, maybe 5 consistent games. Maybe win, I don't know, 3 playoff games.
Careful, you're going to make Ravens fans upset.
Oh, why? What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
I don't know. Cry about it. Yeah, that's all they can do.
Eat their feelings? I don't know.
But speaking of massacre, guys, do you like that transition?
That massacre? Well, that was like shifting into from third gear to first. You just blew your transmission.
From when you threatened to stab me in the neck. All right, we're gonna talk about that. Bills. If we go off the air suddenly, you know why.
It was a very loose promise.
But what about that Bills and Texans game?
What the fuck was that? Like, I don't want, and this is what I'm saying. I don't think the Bills should even count that as a win. Because 40 fucking points, and you only scored on a field goal, and I didn't even like look at I didn't really go into depth about who. I think that is Tyrod Taylor still out?
Yes,
Tyrod Taylor still out.
He will be for a couple weeks.
Exactly. So I didn't really go really in depth about who threw for what, but the fact that they scored 40 fucking points, even fucking get a field goal. I don't know what else to say. I am absolutely disgusted. But this is what it is. This is mediocre football. You can literally and you have fans that will literally Texans fans who pay season ticket holders who pay money to see this absolute putrid dumpster fire of a team. Just straight up dumpster fire. And I'd love to rag on their coach, whoever the fuck that guy is.
David Culley.
I'd love to rag on him, but I mean that whole organization top to bottom is dog shit. It's literally like the Democratic Party. Dog shit. It's just dog. You can't take a 40-point shellacking and then be like, well, that was just the players. That was just the players' fault. If we had better players, it would have been completely different. If you had better players, you'd have maybe 3 points, 10 points.
Well, actually, the Texans surprisingly didn't do awful with Tyrod in the game. Not this game, but the first 2 weeks of the season. They started 1-0. After week 1, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. I thought
that's a bigger fraud than the Panthers.
But you have to feel for Tyrod because every team he goes to, he gets his shot, he gets hurt, and then obviously,
but that goes to show,
obviously he's not losing his job to David Mills. But that goes to show
Tyrod Taylor how good he is as a backup. He is, I guess you can say, whenever he's on the free agent market. he is the top of the line backup to have.
Yes.
And that goes to show of like what kind of player he is. You know, it's somebody. If you don't have Deshaun, at quarterback this year, and you look at who's on the market, that was your best bet.
Right.
That's a good move. But
I agree.
You for every good move they do, they find something else to just do something fucking retarded. Like they could do something fantastic, right? And switch organizations with the Patriots, and then jack up fucking ticket sales to like $1,000 a ticket. Like they would do something super smart, and then just do something retarded to completely cancel out what they actually did. So I can't even like talk shit about them in a joking way, because like this is the NFL. Like this is why I don't pay for NFL Pass or anything bullshit. If I ever see the fucking Texans popping up on my screen when I'm doing NFL Red Zone, I'm gonna need to get a new TV. I refuse to watch it. Fucking TV remote right at that shit. I'm not doing it. Like, this is why you need to have some sort of standards throughout the NFL. You can't just be like dog shit, putrid ass and be like, that's okay.
And the Texans, much like maybe a franchise like the Lions, for example, they have superstar players in and out. You know, and most of the time their whole careers are there, but nothing ever happens. And their Super Bowl window it opens for 1 year, and then that closes for 20.
But you could tell, right? It's not the Lions don't have as much drama as the Texans. You can tell the Texans are organized from the top down. Like you from the top down, from the owner down, with the whole Deshaun Watson and all that foggy mess with how the owner was like he lived next door neighbors with one of the lawyers or whatever. There was like some funky shit going on. There's been funky shit going on with the Texans forever. Any player, you can go back, and any player who leaves the Texans usually leaves not liking them. They'll say the organization, people who are at the top of the organization are terrible people. They don't know how to run a football team. They're all dumbasses. But this is a rich guy with a ton of money who decided to buy an NFL team and doesn't seem to give a shit about it.
You know it's bad when even J.J. Watt left, because he's somebody, as bad as I knew it was going to get, I never saw him leaving Houston.
I think J.J. Watt was
because he loves that city.
But he was. I think he was. No, that's a different story. If J.J. Watt wasn't who he is today, he would have left a while ago, or he would wanted to leave a while ago. He was. I think he
wanted to represent the city.
I think he's happy, and in a way, Russell Westbrook was happy playing by himself. Now, he would be the star of his team every week. It would be, J.J. Watt in the Texans.
The poster boy.
Yeah, he's the poster boy.
Right.
And I think once the whole idea of being the poster boy finally ran its course, he was like, I can't. At one point or another, in every NFL player's career, either if it's, they wind up having a 4-year career or a 12-year career. At one point or another, you want to win a Super Bowl. You also want to be your own person. You want to be a star. But later in your career, you figure out that championships is what really makes, separates the good from the greats. And I think J.J. Watt came to that conclusion. Thank God that, the Texans made that conclusion for D-Hop before, he wasted more of his years there. And I just feel sorry for Deshaun. I don't feel super sorry for Deshaun Watson, because you'd have to go into the fact that everybody knows the Texans isn't the place to be. And the fact that you signed that contract goes to show that you had to know. Like, you're telling me nobody...
He also signed that contract with D-Hop's on the roster. And who would have ever expected somebody to move him?
But D-Hop was his only guy. I think they had Kenny Stills at one point.
At that time, the Texans were a team that snuck into the wild card every year. And I'm not saying that's good necessarily, but they were almost there. The one problem they did have was that Bill O'Brien still had a job. But before you got rid of him, you let him just blow the place up.
All right, so I get that they made the wild card, and if the Super Bowl was the wild card weekend, then we could have a conversation.
Right.
But the Super Bowl isn't the wild card weekend.
I'm not justifying that.
Because it's just like Lamar Jackson. Just because you make the fucking playoffs doesn't mean you did anything. You gotta fucking win games, and whatever you did last year, you gotta do more for me this year.
No, right, I know that. I'm just saying they had enough talent to get to the wild card, so you could have built on that, rather than what's going on now. Deshaun Watson's case, That was maybe out of their hand. Who knows what the whole story is?
Well, I put more emphasis on Deshaun Watson because before you sign a contract, and this kind of all right. So if a player can just sit here and after say he signs a contract, right? All right, Tom Brady, for a perfect example, signed a 2-year deal. And say not everybody came back. Say AB didn't come back. Shaq Barrett didn't come back. They had to sign a lot of people for a lot of. They took minimums. A lot of people who should have got
14 starters.
Yeah, exactly. They took a lot of minimums to play again with Tom Brady to pretty much run it back. Now, if they didn't sign and Tom Brady was like, I want to trade, like what the fuck's the point of a contract? Like, what is the point of it? What are we, just like a play-by-year type of deal? Then we just completely shuffle it up all over again?
Well, yeah, that's my problem because no players, like they signed their name on a dotted line, a payment that, a payment for salary, services. A salary that they agreed to in a number of years.
For their services.
And all of a sudden, 2 years, say it's a 5-year deal, 1.5 years in, I'm not happy anymore.
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand that.
What's the...
and holding out, that's another big problem I have with people. I hate when players hold out for... I mean, unless it's like a Calvin Johnson situation, I understand that. I'm not saying he held out. But, like, unless you have a legitimate excuse or a reason.
Yeah, well, you don't really... I think you don't see that as much. You saw that, like, back in the day with, like... you take Brian Lee, for example, and, like, Jamarcus Russell. Like, they held out on their rookie contracts and got, like, six-year deals. Like, that Jamar Ruckus deal was...
Zach Wilson just held out for the longest time.
But, I mean, once again, though, if I'm getting drafted... Right, and I think, like, nowadays, it's frowned upon to say... Like, pull Eli Manning, like, I refuse. Or, like, Eli Manning, I refuse to go to this team. I think a lot of owners have gathered amongst themselves to, like, oh, well, if this guy says he doesn't want to play for us, we're going to, blackball him, essentially.
I can understand rookies doing it to try and
maximize
instant financial security.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to they just moved here,
But I think that makes sense for, like, somebody who's not the starting quarterback.
It makes sense. I mean, I can kind of see it in that way, even though I still don't accept it.
Well, think about it, right? If I'm a vet, right? I'm a veteran, right? Say I'm not. I'm like a middle of the pack. I keep my job every year, but I'm not, blowing out the stat sheet, right? So as a vet, I have to watch this young rookie quarterback who's not guaranteed to do anything. Everything that everybody projects him to do is a hypothetical. Or what he could do. It's all projections, right?
Right.
So on just projections, you want a 6. Oh, I'll just take the Jamarcus Russell deal. You want a 6-year deal, and like you have to take a chance of what that does to the locker room. Mm-hmm. You haven't done anything for any of us yet. You haven't won us any games. You haven't been through us through the hard times. Yet you're gonna hold out for what? For tons of money. And look at it, right? Look at all those like a Brian Leaf, right? And Jamarcus Russell. I know those are the only 2 guys I could really name off the top of my head who you give them these big deals and these big contracts and it winds up biting you in the ass and you look like a fucking idiot. Right. And every analyst will say, oh, they're so dumb for doing this and so dumb for doing that. Well, because hindsight's 20/20.
Well, I still don't agree with it. I'm just saying I can understand why they're doing it. What I don't understand is when these vets you were talking about, already in the middle of a contract, all of a sudden not being happy with it, was something they previously agreed to. That's where I have a problem with it. That's annoying.
I agree with you on that, and that's why I take the Deshaun Watson as an example. Like, you could have hired somebody to do research on the track record of the Texans organization. You're the quarterback. You can see the type of talent that they're bringing in and the type of talent that they're putting at your disposal. At that point, you have to make the calculated risk. Now, you could run into an ideal where you could something like, Dak. You could have a situation like Dak where you could be in a heated, a negotiation part and you get hurt and then you got a really much, like your next year is your money year. And thank God for Dak that, he actually came back and was able to get his money. But Deshaun Watson, it's kind of like, there's no excuses for him. I don't feel sorry for him having to play for them. I don't. I really don't. You knew what you were getting into. Like, if any NFL fan, right? Mm-hmm. Any NFL fan who knows anything about an organization, right, could know that they just have a terrible track record with treating their players, right? You'd have to know that. It's retardism. Is that even a fucking word? Like, there's such a fancy word. It's like you know what I'm trying to say.
Negligence?
Yes, for him not to go through the proper process and figure out what's what. You signed the contract, bud. You made your bed, now you lay in it. That's all I have to say to that.
No, I agree with that. What's even more stupid than that is if you have a team like the Eagles who signed a quarterback to a massive deal, and then a year later they decide, I don't want you anymore.
Well, yeah. That's the thing, though. Like
contracts don't mean anything anymore.
Well, that's like they don't, and it works for the team in some sort of case, right? You take the whole Carson Wentz situation, and that him wanting out and them really pushing him out to so where he wanted to trade, that helped them, and it also kind of just like, they're able to eat the money and be like, all right, fuck it, like we'll pay you, but we just want you out of this fucking building, And if Deshaun Watson and that's the thing though, right? The owners won't give that same ideology to the players, right? That I don't want to pay for you, I don't want to play for you, so rip up the money and keep your money or whatever. That's not what it is, or it's not the money. The money thing, it's too easy for the company, for the organizations to just be like, we'll eat that. Then the players to be like, I guess I just won't make any money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like I said, like if you sign a contract, you got to pay to the contract. You know what I'm saying? That's just that. If you don't follow that basic terms of the agreement, then what's the fucking point of having an agreement? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. No, I agree 100%.
And if they have a problem with these 2-year deals, then don't take if they have a problem with like these super long contracts, right, where you don't know the 100% future of it, then don't take the contract. Just because you're lined up for the money doesn't mean you have to take it. Would it be the most financially responsible thing to do? No. But hey, you got
and if they're asking for too much and negotiations are coming up, try and seek a trade, and that's how business should be done. And when you brought up Dak before, Jerry will just give him whatever he wants at this point.
Well, he had to. He had to. Jerry screwed himself. Jerry did something that is so backwards with signing Zeke to a fat contract, but
that was the most stupid.
Like what? And how is that working out for you? You got to get Tony Pollard to pick up Zeke's mess after I pick up Zeke's fucking.
I don't care who you are. You don't pay a running back $90 million.
No, you like I said, being a running back is pretty much like being a slave. They will run you into the ground until you think you can't run no more. And then they'll throw you a little bit of money, then you'll get all happy because you're in the middle of the pack. It's a franchise tag, so you're getting a little bit of extra money, right? And then they're gonna run you into the ground for another couple of years, and then you're right out the door. Yep. It's very hard to sustain, especially at the running back position. It's very hard to sustain a baseline of just perfectness. You know what I'm trying to say?
And there are always running backs coming out of college that are faster,
better, more agile.
Yep.
It's crazy how Frank Gore, kept his job and he's still a free agent to this very day.
He hasn't retired yet.
Yeah, and the fact that he is still in the market and he'll stay there because he knows that when players get hurt, he's the most serviceable one. And I think the fact that he stretched his career as far as he did goes to show how good he is and the amount of work he puts into his body and stuff. And
right. I mean, he still had his uses for like certain downs and things like that. Unless you had a star player that, we don't want him to get hurt type thing. Let's throw in the old guy. But
you didn't pay. You're not going to pay Frank Gore $90 million.
No, you're not.
You paid Zeke $90 million, and then you had to go. You're going to have to either if they haven't signed Tony Pollard, Tony Pollard's going to get a check. I mean, he's probably, if I want to say, he's their 1A running back.
If you traded Ezekiel Elliott, right?
But what I'm saying is what Jerry paid he's paying two guys what he paid one guy to do. You know what I'm saying? He's paying two people to do one person's job that he already paid that person to do.
The Cowboys could have gotten a first-round pick for him a couple years ago, trying to trade him.
Yeah, they could.
They really could have.
They should have. I mean,
I agree 100%.
But that's all.
Think about that cap space. They could have saved because obviously, I mean, Zeke did great things his rookie year, and I didn't know he'd fall off this hard personally.
He just got fat. Who would have thought?
Feed
Being
Zeke.
fat makes you slow.
But what about those Cowboys beating the Panthers?
It was fraudulent. When I look at the Panthers on paper, they're just not a very good team. I don't think they beat a lot of really good teams. They kind of, I'm pretty sure one of their wins was the Jets. So that wasn't anything that clapped like a seal for. Wow.
The Texans.
They beat the fact if you have the Texans and the Jets in your win column or in your loss column, you, sir, need to think about what you're doing for work. Yeah, playing the Jets and playing the Texans should be a draw, right? A draw automatically. You show up, you throw a couple of plays, you let the backups get their shit in, and you call it a draw. Like that, it's not worth. You can't get anything. I mean, you can't gain anything from playing shitty ass teams like this. That's why I said with the Bills, right? You didn't see anything different, or you didn't see anything that they could work on because they just scored fucking 40 points on them. Like there's no, like you need to be scored upon. Sometimes you need to lose games to see what you really need to work on.
Right.
And once again, I think the Panthers they didn't lose any games, and they just thought that they were this good team, and they thought they got Sam Darnold, and all their questions were answered. And I'm not saying Sam Darnold's not. I guess I put him in a top 10 quarterback, but he's, not something that's going to completely change your franchise, So
seeing 3-0 is very misleading next to their name. Well, I will say this: I love their weapons. Obviously, they have Christian McCaffrey when he's on the field. Sam Darnold faced the Jets week 1. I love how he got a win against his former team because the Jets are a dumpster fire. They always will be. And it's good to see.
Why are you going to put any stock into them winning? Why? If you would sit here and tell me, right, they're a dumpster fire, then why act like them beating them was anything? That's like you telling me you beat the shit out of an infant and expecting me to give you a high five. The thing couldn't even fucking walk, and you punted it across the room.
It's a personal thing. Darnold was not given any help in New York and was pushed out the back door because the Jets knew they were tanking, essentially, for Zach Wilson. And now they go to his new team, they play, and Darnold beats them. And I just love that.
Yeah, I mean...
I love that.
Yeah, all right. So, if you take it into a personal account, I guess, he went back to his old team and he beat them. That's good for him. But who'd he beat? He beat the Jets. You beat a dumpster fire. Congratulations. You didn't even beat a dead infant.
From him, though,
a dumpster that is on fire. Like, come on. But, all right, if a win's a win, then... Like I said, them going 3-0, right?
I'm not saying I'm not a Panthers fan. I'm not looking at this from a biased point of view. It is the Jets. It's not impressive. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
So if it's not impressive, two of the three teams they beat are literally known around the field for being, beat on me whores. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like a fucking cum dumpster. They're literally cum dumpsters of teams, right? And you want to act like you or expect the Cowboys did anything shockingly by beating them. So, right, and this is what I love, right? Jerry Jones equated the Dallas Cowboys to David and Goliath, and this is when they played the Bucs week 1, the Bucs in Tampa Bay. So if the Cowboys are David, right, then I assume that the Panthers gotta be David's, dyslexic cousin's hairless cat. Like it has to be so far off, and for Jerry Jones and for people to sit here and act like the Cowboys did anything and they're back and they're going to the Super Bowl. Like, no, shut the fuck up and go crawl under whatever rock you decide to poke your head out from under. It's nothing. It is nothing. If anything, they just plastered over all the bad shit they did in week 2. That's all they did. What they're going to do, Mike McCarthy's fat ass, all he's going to do is go up in there. Then Monday morning for film, he's going to be like, oh, well, we won, guys, so cheeseburgers on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to fucking, they're not going to really, really dissect this team the way it needs to be better, to beat more comparable competition, and to beat any team that is worth beating because they win shitty games. They beat shitty teams. And they act like they do anything by beating shitty teams when it's like, no, you didn't do anything. You just beat a shitty team. You beat a dead baby.
It sucks because, at least in the NFC East, in my opinion, they have They have the best roster by far, but
they have one of the top. On paper, they have probably one of the top 10 rosters in the league.
They do, but it's always the fault of the owner and the coach and everybody else in there. Jerry Jones is the GM too, right?
Well, yeah. I feel like the Cowboys is like a college team, a glorified college team, because it's like there's not a lot of There's just, it doesn't seem like they're not like professional enough. You know what I'm saying? There's always drama. They always seem to have like they always draft the stars, right? It doesn't matter what they actually need, but if it's a star and it's a big name, they'll draft him.
It's to sell tickets. It's all about money to them.
Exactly,
I feel
and
like.
it's all look at me and my shiny things, but not like, what have you done to do to get
no
those
shiny Lombardis?
Exactly, no shiny Lombardis, but he got a bunch of nice ass players in the draft.
And all the good players somehow fall to them in the draft. I've noticed
they're good players, but they're not good for the team, right? Like look at that team now. Like you're so offensive heavy, You have so many weapons on offense that it's like a legitimate chore to make sure that everybody's fed, right? Because not only do you have like you look at that team, you have like a star, you have a bunch of receivers all over the place, right? And then you also have two running backs that want to eat too. And you have one running back that you paid a lot of money that you probably want to get some of that money's worth from. Then you have a quarterback that you paid a lot of money that you're probably going to want some of his worth from. And then he's going to have to throw it to wide receivers like Amari Cooper, who you already paid, right? And overpaid. And he wants his piece of the pie. And you got
CeeDee Lamb.
And you got the other slot.
You're gonna have to pay him a big paycheck.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to pay him. And then you got Gallup, Michael.
Michael Gallup.
They got him, and he's good for them too.
Tony Pollard's eventually gonna have to be paid if Zeke can't get his act together.
They have so much offensive,
and we're not even talking about the offensive line.
Yeah, but this goes to show they have a lot of offensive stars that they don't. You can't you can't keep everybody happy.
I put the Cowboys I compare them to the Falcons because like you can draft as many offensive players, college stars that you want, but if you're still letting up 450 yards a game, you're not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And the defense is nothing to. It's kind of a joke. Like I'm really like. I am so tired of anything going on in the NFC East and people clapping like seals. Like you're paid to do this. You're paid. Pay me that money and give me a fucking shot, right?
It's not a podcast episode without you ranting about the NFC East.
I'm so dumb. It is not fun. I love
listen, the Giants just upset the Saints in the Superdome. That's gonna be headlines in New York for 10 years.
For real. I think the Saints. I think you still have Jameis Winston problems. You will forever. Jameis Winston.
He was not their plan A. He was like they did not look at Jameis when they signed him. Oh, he's gonna take over for Breeze. I think they did though. I think he just happened to be on the roster when Breeze retired.
No, I think they did because you look at what he did at Tampa. I mean, he 30 for 30, yes. And what everybody used to say was if you could just get those interceptions down to 15, like he won a lot of games throwing 30 picks. So, and a lot of people's consensus was, hey, we can just get him to clean up a lot of the shitty stuff, right? Not go for the money ball every single time. He might be better,
But check out, what about Taysom Hill's contract?
I don't think Taysom Hill is. I think he's the definition of a gadget player. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable with him starting a quarterback. I would not.
No, I mean he'll convert you important third downs and stuff.
Yeah, he can throw the ball. I think the idea of he can run, he can throw, he can catch. I think that keeps defenses on their toes when they play them. I think if you had him as a bona fide quarterback, it puts him in sort of a box that I don't think it's a very big box for him.
No.
You're asking him to read, which I'm not saying he can't read a defense, but you're asking him to do a whole lot more than what he's doing right now.
Jameis Winston, he kind of has problems with reads too, but I don't know how much he'll be able to improve from here. Who knows if he'll be here for the next 3 years. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what contract he signed.
I give him to the middle of the season, right? We're gonna go back to this, right? Towards the middle of the season, and then that's when I think I can give my 100% good or bad review and feel comfortable. Because once again, it's only week 3.
Because consistency is key.
Well, yeah, ask Lamar Jackson that.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, or ask him that. He probably doesn't know what that is. As I say, Jameis Winston, you knew what he was. He's got tons of potential, but you have to clean up the interceptions and just the bad decisions. And at this point, can he? I don't know.
He is in a good offensive system to grow more.
Yeah,
he has Sean Payton. He has Alvin Kamara.
I give him to the midseason, and we'll really go over it towards the end of the year. But it's you can't. I'm not gonna go over here clap like a fucking seal for mediocre wins and mediocre playing mediocre teams. That's it. That's done. I'm done beating this dead horse. The NFC East is a dead horse that has already decomposed, and there's maggots out of its eyes. It's a dead horse. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm sure we'll still talk about it every week.
They will find a way to weasel their way in every fucking week. One of those 4 teams. Well, I know it. It's like the Kardashians of the fucking divisions. You know what I'm saying? What else we got?
That's pretty accurate. Well, we're talking about the AFC West now. The Raiders just lost to the Chargers.
Frauds.
The Chiefs starting 2-2. Who would have seen that coming?
Anybody who could see their defense. Really?
Yeah,
Hey, but they always had defensive problems. The only thing is Pat Mahomes has bailed them out a lot. This is what happens. Winning covers up a lot of shitty things you do.
There's another example. The Chiefs. See, Pat Mahomes is a level higher than Dak Prescott and Matt Ryan. So you don't need I shouldn't say you don't need, but you can get away more with not having a defense and letting up 450 yards a game. They actually statistically so far this year have the worst defense in the league. But you have Patrick Mahomes, and I know they're 2-2. They're only 500, but
yeah, but you don't expect them to cheat. I think what the Chiefs done in the past 2 years, the level of expectations go up. That's why people clap like fucking seals every single time anybody from the NFC East does anything remotely good. Because, wow, we're so used to you guys losing, you won one.
Right, because the division winner usually goes 8-8.
Exactly, and that's literally the cream of the crop. And so then you go over to a legitimate team like the Chiefs, who won a Super Bowl, seem to do it right, who have a good front of the house, right? They treat their players well. All the players, they seem to be happy, and they seem to know how to hand out money relatively smart. Not like a 5-year-old. So what's the problem? And the whole problem was always that defense. They skirted by through the first year. They didn't get by because Chris Jones was offsides against the Pats.
Yep.
That was a dumb move. They skirted by in the second year because they won the Super Bowl. They thought they could just get the same players and just run it back. Comes to find out, they got all the way to the Super Bowl, but they just didn't have that defense.
Mm-hmm. Or an offensive line.
Or offensive line. But once again, it's a known fact. Defense wins championships. And I guarantee you, they'd have a better chance if they had a better defense.
You need a defense. Everyone's in this mindset now of, it's a new league. As long as we can put up 40 points, we're fine. Yeah, but that's not true. You got to look at old school football fundamentals.
Well, and and a lot of people say the NFL's changed, but it's not changed. What do you do when you want to win the clock out? You run the ball. You do the most basic run fucking plays. It's very simple. It's just you can accumulate points a lot faster. If you have a team full of track stars like the Chiefs, you're gonna have to put up. You're not worried about your defense. You know for a fact that they're gonna score, regardless of how good your defense is. Unless you take the back in the day, the Ravens defense, the Bears defense. If you take these historic defenses, then maybe. But how many of these teams nowadays have an historic defense? Not a lot of them.
No.
And if it's considered a historic defense nowadays, it's nothing like it was 10 years ago compared to an historic defense back then. So it's completely different. But you got all these these football analysts and these these gimmick guys or whatever always look at the stats and stuff, and they're like, well, the odds of going on fourth down, this and that. So they're just I think a lot of those math guys, they've penciled in the way of like, well, fuck defense, you just got to score a ton of points. And that's where you see a lot of teams, they're offensive heavy. There's a lot of teams out there that are offensive heavy, and you can see that when they get fucking, 30, 40 points scored on them. But they win, 42 to 36 or some shit like that. Well, you still got 36 points scored on your defense, but you're not going to look at that. You're going to look at the fact that what you won, like how you won.
Right.
You're going to be like, oh, well, we won. We don't really need to scrutinize ourselves. And that's the thing that separates the Patriots from every other organization, I feel like. No matter win or loss, Bill's going to find some shit to say something about somebody. And every team might do that, but they don't do it to the way Bill does it, because that's why Bill has consistency throughout the years.
Mm-hmm. Right, and look at Bill Belichick's formulas. Like I mean, you pretty much just summed it up, but nobody thinks like him. And he actually drafts at positions. Maybe he doesn't pick the best player at those positions. But
you got people who think like him, but any single time they go anywhere else, it just never works. Mm-hmm. You look at Josh McDaniels, you look at the fat guy with the pencil. I don't know his name. I'm surprised he still has a pencil in his ear. I'm surprised he hasn't eaten it. Patricia.
Yeah, Matt Patricia. Yeah. I thought you were joking. That's why I didn't help you out there.
Patricia.
But let's talk about that Sunday night matchup to wrap things up. So
that was a really, really rainy game. You know what I'm saying?
It was. So I love Tom Brady, and I always will. But you know what? And they did win. Personally, don't yell at me. I don't think Tampa won. I think New England lost. And
I don't understand
the fact that Mac Jones, and given these circumstances, outplayed Tom Brady. I'm just proud of that.
Proud that you lost.
Listen.
You gonna be proud when your kid becomes a loser?
Like,
are you gonna just be happy that you had a kid?
Well, here's the thing. I know as a Patriots fan, right?
You suck ass. He's
been on the team since I was born. So as long as I've been watching, I know not to bet against Tom. So I went into
Except if you're Nick Foles.
yeah. Or Eli Manning. No. I went into this game.
Or Joe Hayden on the 20-yard line.
I didn't have high hopes. I'm like, okay, if we lose, you know what?
Or the Titans' defense on that in the last pick six, too. I forgot about that. Ended Brady's career in New England.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, nice.
But I'm going into this game already mentally being okay with going 1-3, starting the year 1-3, because and the fact that we still had a chance.
Yeah, but don't try to say no. Back it up. Skirt, beep, beep, beep. You can't sit here and say that that Tom Brady lost and Mac Jones won, but you already knew that you were gonna lose anyway, and you were happy with that. How does that make any fucking sense?
I don't want to say we knew we were gonna the fan in me had some hope, but the realistic side of me knew we were going to lose.
Okay, so fan in or the father in you knew your kid was a piece of shit, but you just hope to God he wasn't an actual piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. But what I didn't expect for Bill Belichick to hold Brady to 19 points. I thought he was going to put 45 on us.
In the rain.
It doesn't matter.
In the rain.
Brady
without Gronk, too.
That made it a little different.
He didn't have
35 instead of 45. But the fact
you know what? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I am so... How? Technically Tom Brady didn't win because he didn't score 35 points. No, shut the fuck up.
I'm not saying that.
Because when Tom was in New England and he was fucking winning these close games, winning Super Bowls by fucking field goals, everybody was like, Tom. And now it's because Tom didn't... You go back to the fucking Eagles Super Bowl, right? That's some bullshit. I think you got Skip Bayless, that fucking dumbass, right? I think Tom Brady won because he's threw for 505. Nigga, you lost. You took an L. There's no way possible you can equate an L in any way, shape, or form to a moral. If you were out here looking for moral victories after you hold 6 Super Bowls in the 20th century as an organization, you, sir, are a jackass.
You are playing things you are putting things way out of proportion.
I am not.
I'm saying the fact that we held Tom Brady, who's still at the top of his game, to the stats that we did.
Fucking moral Yo, how the mighty have. You are Jerry Jones. You are Jerry Jones. You and him must think insurers on the weekend. Because the fact that you're saying, well, you know what, we didn't get beat that bad by Tom Brady, so I think that's a win. No, fuck you. Fuck you, because you're the.
I'm not saying we're not in the L column. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're trying to find a way to put lipstick on this ugly ass turd. Like, it's a turd. You lost.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying we went against the defending Super Bowl champions, and we didn't get blown out of the water. And the media, especially, the media's been looking at New England, that ever since Tom left, and maybe part of this was Cam Newton's fault, it's a whole other story. They're looking at New England as absolutely they're a non-factor now.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Who says that? I mean, yeah,
everybody.
They are. I mean, they're a non-factor because of their pedigree, because of what they've done for me lately. You can't sit here and win like you did for the past 20 years, and then act like being the Texans is okay.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, you are.
But
You're looking for moral victories. You are the Cowboys of the North.
I think we have a bright future.
Okay, I hear that from Cowboys fans.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah. Mac Jones played outstanding.
I hear that about Dak Prescott.
What?
I heard that about Dak Prescott his whole rookie year. So good. Went by Tony Romo. It back hurts, man. I don't know why I said it like that.
I can picture him with like a cowboy hat on and saying,
"What up, me? You Tony Romo? I'm here to play quarterback." Throw me the ball.
Mac Jones played lights out. Our offense actually put some drives together. Josh McDaniels
actually put drives together that didn't cap off. You didn't put enough together.
We didn't do enough. I'm not trying to say we did, but I saw flashes that I didn't see in the first 3 games.
You know what else I saw flashes from? That is a really good quarterback. That could have been a really good quarterback.
Who?
You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of flashes from a lot of good quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? There's a guy, right? I know. He had a lot of flashes too. It's a guy I like to know by the name of Jamarcus Russell.
Again?
Yeah, I'm bringing him up again. He had a lot of flashes.
That's gonna be our thumbnail guys this week, Jamarcus Russell.
There's a picture of him just all fat as shit. It's hilarious. But like what I'm saying is, just because you've seen flashes, don't mean dog shit. Did you see any flashes of Tom when he first came out that he was gonna be what he is today?
No.
Was there any projection for him to be what he is?
But
today?
you still have the most important guy that's part of that franchise on the team, Bill Belichick. And
you said important.
I trust him.
You said important.
Important.
But you said Bill Belichick. I don't know how those two equate.
What do you mean?
He's not important. I'm a firm believer in the whole Belichick area. The era left as soon as Brady left. He's got no control of that locker room. He's got nobody to.
Of course he does.
No, he does not.
Yes,
he controls that locker room like Xi Jinping controls China. Like it's a complete. You step out of line, you're out of here. It's not a personable thing.
You think he's like on the hot seat?
I mean, so if I'm Robert Kraft, you have to take winning 6 Super Bowls into account. Like, oh, maybe this is a down year. Maybe I'm going through a slump. This, and that. You have to take that into account. But as a fan, or as a fan of the league, it's more about what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me in the past 2 years? And
well, we are in a small rebuild. I'm not denying that.
And when you're connected to the hip, as Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are, and you have Tom Brady pretty much get pushed out of the door, right? Well, not put, but yeah, he actually did get pushed out because he wanted to trade Tom Brady to sign Jimmy G. So he did get pushed out of the door. And the only reason is he went up there and said, "Fuck no, I'm gonna go tell Daddy on you." You know what I'm saying?
But you also have to think that Tom has a super team and Belichick's Still rebuild. I know how much.
But
I am aware how much money we just spent.
He has no leverage.
Yes, he does.
No leverage.
I believe he does.
In what case?
There's not as much as there was playing for Tom and Belichick, but Bill Belichick.
Yes, there was.
When Bill Belichick,
there was a great. First of all, you have no idea the amount of middleman Tom had to do to relay Bill Belichick's bullshit ass fucking, well, I'm the boss, here's my stupid ass thing, to be able to tell everybody in the locker room, like, hey, this is for a reason, guys, because we win Super Bowls. You don't have somebody in the locker room telling everybody to, like, this is how Bill is. It's all for a reason. We're going to trust the process. Because Tom Brady was like 80% of the process. You can trust everybody else to do their job when Tom Brady was doing 80% of their job. I mean, think about it. Like, literally, like, it's been equated to playing with Tom Brady is just got to be in the right spot. You just got to be in the right spot. Mm-hmm. You can take pedestrian talent and turn them to household names in New England. Like Amendola, Hogan, Edelman. These are people who I guarantee if they were on any other team, they'd be Joe Schmo.
Right.
You know, they're not going to be these guys.
But so, that's not all on Brady either.
That is on Brady. What do you mean?
Brady's the one throwing him the ball. And
all right, Brady's getting shitty-ass talent and making them good. How is that not 80% his, like, that's 80% him. He's not getting a bona fide receiver. The only bona fide receiver that he had in that everybody probably give more props to the receiver than Tom would be Randy Moss.
I don't think it's a coincidence that every Joe Schmo, as you say, that Belichick brought in actually was relevant with us. I think that had a lot to do with Bill's scouting and seeing something in somebody.
For them, but what team does Danny Amendola play for?
The Texans. But I'm just saying.
No, he doesn't.
Right now?
No.
Yes, he does.
You sure?
Yeah, he just got a touchdown last week.
I thought he was on Detroit.
No, he left at free agency.
Oh. Well, good for him. No, not good for him.
He went from worse.
The other way. His GPS is just like, make a U-turn at the stadium. What are you doing? Make a U-turn at the stadium. What are you doing?
Just retire.
Just retire. We have options. Bing with the fucking GPS thing. But once again, I think, Tom, I think Bill had a really good eye for getting good talent for cheap.
Yes. He
could get it for cheap. They were never known for spending crazy amount of money.
While defending Bill to you, I'm not trying to push anything aside that Tom did either. He was just I'm not a Belichick guy or a Tom guy. I think it was very 50-50.
The only way you could I don't think it's 50-50.
Because like Tom was the head of that offense for 20 years, let's just say.
Yeah.
I think it is 20 years.
19 years, just kind of.
But Belichick was the defense. Like we talked about, defense wins championships.
But he was also
defense is important.
He also brought the groceries though. He's also the
Belichick?
Yeah.
He's the GM.
He's a GM.
Well. Right.
So not only
he has a lot of power in that organization.
Exactly. And not only is he going out and getting the talent for bargain-based prices. These are not bona fide receivers. This is not an Odell Beckham Jr. who's already coming in and already has, all these awards and known for being a bona fide number one receiver.
Well, he proved that he didn't necessarily need that.
Because of Tom!
People will say, oh, Tom...
Because of Tom! How were you gonna say this?
Tom had a lot to do with it.
He had like 80%! What are you talking about?
No, Tom had a lot to do with it.
80%! I'm not taking a penny less.
Not that much. Belichick didn't just sign He didn't just sign Joe Schmo saying, oh, well, it probably won't do anything. I'll let Tom kind of...
So you're telling me the defense was more important than that 28-3 Super Bowl win?
I think it was... Both had equal parts in that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I would say so.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah, I would say so.
I think the defense made a couple of good plays, but I think that one play by Hightower is completely canceled out by that play to Edelman. That inch catch above the ground, which I have no.
I'm just saying they wouldn't have won that game without either side playing as good as they did. In the second half. We won't talk about the first half.
Well, all right. So
that was
so if it's mostly Bill Belichick, right? What quarterback could have came in there and did the same thing Tom Brady did?
Nobody. That's why I'm not trying to make Tom sound like any other average quarterback. I'm not saying that.
Oh, think about it, right?
But only like literally, Tom couldn't have came back though with another coach either.
He did. What? Yeah, let me repeat that. Repeat that for the people.
I'm saying.
You are saying
in that Falcons Super Bowl.
That Falcons Super Bowl.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Given the same circumstances and everything, they would not have come back and won if another coach was also on that sideline.
Well, everybody, this has been the end of the three-man lineup. We'll be leaving. I don't get it. I do. Bull fucking shit. Tom Brady. So you think, right, when Tom Brady gets a play, right, he's just like, oh, I have to run it. I have to run it. I have to, even though the box loaded, I have to run it. No. He's going to check out of it. Tom Brady probably has more control of the game. You think Tom Brady gives a fuck about what Bill Belichick has to say on offense? The only reason they work so well together is because, yes,
they complement
Bill
each other.
Is more defensive minded.
Right.
Yeah, so he's going to tell them what I'm going to be thinking as a defensive coordinator, right? But when you're giving me subpar, you're giving me Kraft mac and cheese. I
know why you're getting all uptight. All right.
Well, uptight.
When I said that Tom wouldn't have came back without Belichick, I'm not saying because Belichick had anything to do with offense. That was all Tom. I'm talking about Bill calling the defense. That's why Tom had command central of the offense and Bill had command central of the defense. And that's why I said it's 50-50 because they complemented each other so well. That's what I was saying.
What about all the times Tom had to bail out that shitty-ass defense? How many... oh my God! Jesus! Sweet baby Jesus, right? I love how everybody talks about how many game-winning drives Tom has.
Yes.
Pretty sure that wasn't because of the defense. Pretty sure he's in that position because of the defense.
Well, no, but not every game was a game-winning drive either.
Yeah, but people talk about all his game. He's had quite a few. He's known for his game-winning drives.
And
he's known for letting that defense letting up some points and having to go back down there and.
And again, I'm not diminishing what Tom did either.
Yeah, you are.
That's why it just works so well.
You're saying Bill is relevant when he's not.
He is relevant. They're both relevant.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They're both the greatest at their positions.
No. So he's the greatest head coach, GM ever?
Yes.
He's the greatest of getting subpar. He's the greatest of getting players for cheap that do well, but only with Tom Brady.
Let me ask you something, because I know we need to wrap it up, right? Not this year. Say next year. Just try to imagine in your mind, right?
Okay.
Say next, and don't yell at me for this. Say next year, Mac Jones. And the Patriots.
I have water in my cup. Before you say this, know that. I have water in my cup. I will throw it at you. I will.
I'm saying, Mac Jones gets comfortable in the next year, right?
Oh my God, you're gonna say it, aren't you?
And they go.
Can I stab you right now?
I'm just saying, who gets the credit for that?
For what?
If Mac Jones and the Patriots go all the way at some point before Bill retires. And he gets a ring with Matt. Who gets the credit? Is it because Matt?
It depends because he's on a clock. This, like I said earlier, this is Tom and Bill. This isn't organizations against organization. This is Tom and Bill.
Right. And
when you look at Tom and Bill, Tom he cashed in year one.
Because of a super team too. You have to look at it from all angles.
It was a super team?
Yeah. I mean,
this is the same super team, right? That had Jameis Winston at the quarterback last year and couldn't do shit.
Yes, because Jameis Winston was literally the only problem.
So how was it? It wasn't a super team.
Well, it became a super team with
Tom. Exactly, with Tom fucking Brady. I am the last person to sit here and try to give this man any more credit. I hate Tom Brady. He has ruined my sports watching enjoyment to the point where I can't even watch a Steelers game because I'm just waiting for the Patriots to pop out of somewhere, right? Just somewhere, right? I'm just going to see it on the fucking schedule, the Pats, right? Fucking just over. Tom Brady, no matter how good a team is, Tom Brady makes it 100 times better, right? And I guarantee, right, if you put Bill Belichick, if you just switch the offensive coordinators, right? I mean, you switch head coaches, right? what's his face from the Bucs.
Bruce Arians.
Bruce Arians goes to say it was there's the same situation but with Bill, right? I think Tom. I don't think Bill would be able to get them to a Super Bowl with Jameis Winston and with that. And
See, I disagree with that.
What?
I do. I mean, the Bucs had a good team with Jameis, but Tom was that missing. He was that X factor that really made them go from 9-7 to the Super Bowl. Again,
they also got other people. They got the linebacker in the draft, Devontae White. I'm pretty sure his name.
James. Devin White.
Devin White. And then they got Antonio Brown. They either had Sue last year. They got Sue last year was his first year.
Oh yeah, well a lot of veterans, like you mentioned before, wanted to win a ring with Tom.
And with Bruce. Bruce is known as a player's coach. When he played in Pittsburgh, he was known as
because
a player's coach.
The Buccaneers, they're a win now team, and they know once Tom leaves, obviously they're back to the Succaneers.
Well, no, I think they have I think at this point, if they get somebody good in the draft that the team could really band around, like the way New England's pretending to band around Mac Jones, then they could have an easy transition because you have all these stars. That's everybody stays in the next couple of years. But I mean, yeah, you're in a win now mode. I mean, you have a team to be in a win now mode.
Right.
But to sit here, I don't think...
And Tom's not getting any younger.
Yeah, but to sit here and say that Bill Belichick would win a Super Bowl with that same team with Jameis Winston, no, you're retarded. You have a brain problem. But I don't.
No, see, I disagree with that. I don't know. We should have them vote if enough people watch this or something.
All right, everybody that's listening to this,
we gotta wrap it up.
Go down our Instagram page, 3-man lineup. We're gonna have a poll up there. If not tonight, actually, we'll have a poll by the time this video goes up. Who did it better, Tom or Bill? I am Team Tom. If you don't have a brain, you were probably with Team Bill, and you're a jackass and you like to get cheap things. Like Bill.
But anyways,
that wraps up. That wraps it up.
How long did we go?
We went quite a bit. A little longer than we did. But as we have an announcement for the last week of the bullshit phone, it's over. It's gone. It's dead. I'm tired of it. You're tired of it. We have finally invested in some pretty damn good mics. We got some good shit set up for the next couple of weeks.
The quality will be going up.
Well, that's what happens when you get new mics. It's just a give and take situation.
We didn't lie. When we said we're back, and we're here to stay. And we're only going to keep improving from here. To the people that have been watching from our phone days in the car while raining outside.
We're happy you're sticking with us. We're making a very conscious effort to make sure we do it the right way and make sure we're uploading consistently. So once we get our regular due to setup going on, we're going to start uploading in the week, not just Sunday night. We're going to be recording Thursday. We're going to be recording Saturday. We're going to be recording Mondays. We're going to have more sports content your way. We are branching out farther than just the NFL.
We are not going anywhere. You will be seeing and hearing plenty of us in the near future.
There will always be 3-man lineup. The lineup will change as the seasons change, as the sports seasons change. But we thank you guys for tuning in this week. Hopefully we put a smile on your face or made you realize that the word retarded cannot be used as many times as I tried to use it. See you guys next week.